If I
This
play
is
with the
how dumb-
timings,
No, this is how dumb you
I'm
are.
super smart,
This
man.
is how dumb he
I'm
is.
the first YouTuber, pound for pound, #1 in the world. Yes, here,
He's getting angry.
Look at me, man.
I'll whoop both your asses on the same night.
It's gonna be a good fight.
Put both the Chavezes in there. I'll whoop senior and junior.
Trash talk. He was talking to your father and all that. And so I was wondering if you felt disrespected or upset about anything that he said in the press conference.
Yes, a little bit disrespect.
Jake Paul sparked controversy at the recent press conference when he confidently declared that he will defeat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and his father, Chavez Sr., on the same night. Chavez Jr. took offense at his remarks and retaliated angrily, reminding Jake that he had already won a world championship when Paul was a young boy. Tensions swiftly increased, laying the groundwork for a furious and heartbreaking altercation.
When you were born, I was already a champ.
There's two things you can't beat. There's two things you can't beat. Me and your drug addiction.
Well, Julio, you
Get it
have
right, bro.
you have had
Get
your
it right.
struggles in recent years.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. responded with confidence, saying he has the support of the people and that everyone wants to see him defeating Jake Paul. He expressed that the fans are tired of Jake's antics and want to see someone shut him down.
People say, I like Jake Paul. I hate Jake Paul. I don't like him. Beat him. Put back him in the internet, YouTube. So I'm feel the support of everybody, man.
You think there's any chance this man can beat you?
Not a shot in hell. There's nothing he does that can offset anything I'm gonna do to him. Not a single thing. Cardio, pace, output, jabs, body work, inside fighting, wherever the fight goes, however the fight goes, he's gonna be outworked in every single round.
Ariel Helwani in an interview, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. revealed that Jake Paul's press conference comments, particularly those that mentioned his father, severely offended him. He clarified that although it's okay to use derogatory language to end a disagreement, Jake went too far. Julio went on to say that despite his respect for Jake Paul, he didn't get the same in return. This was personal disrespect, not just a promotion.
To try to enter to a real boxing, that's why he started me, because I'm ex-world champion. So he speak too much trash, and try to sell the fight, but I don't like hear that things, like, I don't know, Jake is good for that, for promote fights and these things, but I really want to find out if it's good boxing, for real.
So a lot of people who have fought Jake have tried to sort of, as I said, end Jake Paul, like end all of this. They don't like that he's in boxing. Is that a motivation for you to knock him out so that he says, I don't want to do this anymore, so you could be the one to say you got Jake Paul out of fighting?
Yes, so that's, I'm still thinking that I'm better than Jake Paul, so I think after this fight, maybe Jake continue to fight. I don't know, try to be a best boxer, but I don't think he have skills and everything for win that fight. Yes, I want to end the Jake Paul career. I want to end.
What do you think it will say about you at this stage of your career? 39, you've been fighting for so long, 60 fights, all that stuff. If you beat Jake Paul, what will that say about who Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is right now?
I want to put clear that I'm still here.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is stepping into this fight with a mindset grounded in legacy and years of experience. Unlike many of Jake Paul's past opponents, Julio isn't transitioning from another sport or returning after a long retirement. He's a boxer through and through, trained from youth and sharpened by decades in the ring. While Jake thrives in social media buzz and self-promotion, Julio represents the old-school values of discipline, craft, and real combat conditioning. For him, Jake is still an outsider trying to validate himself. Julio doesn't just want to win, he wants to demonstrate the depth and difference that comes from living the boxing lifestyle from the very beginning. It's not just about the headlines. It's about real respect in the sport.
For me, like when I lost with Anderson Silva, but I'm out of shape. So these things, like the fight with Silva and a couple other fights, make the UFC fighters or the other people thinking that this guy can beat like a real boxers. So I don't think that is not possible, because when you are a real boxer, you train right. It's different, different sport. You in boxing you need to do in point, to win rounds. And UFC, you're only thinking and I don't know, kill the other guy. So it's different. So I'm very excited. I'm training very hard to prove that I'm much better fighter than Jake Paul. So and of course the reveal.
During a press conference, Julio Jr. was asked if he thought Jake Paul would ever face someone like Canelo Alvarez. Quickly brushed the question off. In Julio's opinion, Jake isn't ready to live, and the talent gap between him and Canelo is excessive. Julio views Jake's comparison to Canelo as an exaggeration based on internet hype rather than fact, since Jake would never actually face a top-tier boxer, much less one of Canelo's level. Such matches, in his opinion, are absurd and even demeaning to the skills that true pros bring to the arena.
I don't think he have a chance with Canelo.
Obviously, Jake was scheduled to fight Canelo, and then it fell through. How do you think that fight would have gone? Do you think he would have been in some big trouble?
No, I think Canelo is much better than him. He's not the same level, so that's why I say that my career is different than his career, because I don't think he have a chance with Canelo.
Live, only on DAZN, June 28th. Jake Paul versus Chavez Jr. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Ali Romero, another boxer, has also recognized Julio's breadth of expertise, pointing out that he has sparred with more world-class fighters than Jake could possibly list. Peer recognition is important, particularly in sports where reputation is based on how well opponents perform. On his resume, Julio lists championship rounds, intense fights, and genuine obstacles that helped mold him. For Julio, this is a continuation of a legacy, not just another battle, one that Jake still hasn't earned. Romero's compliment highlights the fact that Jake's in-ring record is far inferior than Julio's experience.
He's fighting a legend's son.
Real deals. How do you think he does?
Who's been in the ring with a bunch of other legends. I mean, Chavez fought Canelo. He fought a bunch of people.
People got to see more, People don't want to give it to him, just coming where he's come from.
Yeah.
But if other boxers co-sign him as a real fighter, that's a good testament. That's a good sign.
Bro, he's fighting Chavez Jr. I don't care. Yeah. Bro, he's fighting a real fighter. He's fighting a legend's son.
Real deals. How do you think he does?
Who's been in the ring with a bunch of other legends. I mean, Chavez fought Canelo. He fought a bunch of people.
But how do you think Jake does in that fight?
What weight's the fight at? Cruiser?
No idea. 65? What?
I don't even know. I don't pay attention to it, to be honest with you.
I don't think Jake Paul can make 65 ever. So.
Hell no. Jake Paul is like a good 220 pounds naturally.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
165.
How tall is he? Jake Paul trains hard, bro. He's a very intelligent person. You gotta think he's a fucking bimbo. He's very fucking intelligent.
Yeah. He's definitely a beast, and he's definitely a monster with marketing.
No, not even the marketing, bro. He's a very intelligent person.
Yeah. You could tell by what he's doing.
Yeah.
Paul exudes pride and frequently claims to be the one who revived boxing's popularity. He feels that by doing things his own way, he is breaking down barriers, and that the traditional boxing world has kept things stagnant. Despite criticism, his popularity has grown to be a major aspect of who he is. Traditionalists may view the unfavorable comments as insulting, but he sees them as evidence that he is making waves rather than a weakness. Many people, including Julio, still view it as innovative. According to Jake, this mindset undervalues the sport's origins and those who developed it via hard work and sacrifice, rather than popularity on social media.
When you say that, what does that mean to you to protect the sport?
Well, for me, I feel like I'm the only one doing it. Everyone else is just trying to gatekeep or say that they're doing things for the sport or something is bad for boxing, but I'm the greatest thing to happen to boxing since Muhammad Ali, and there's no even debating that. And what I've done speaks for itself. No other fighter is building gyms, getting boxing gloves into the hands of kids, throwing multiple events a year, donating my whole entire purse back into my own charity when I fought in Puerto Rico, taking women from getting paid $1,000 to 5, 6, 7 million, breaking Netflix records, shutting down the site, 128 million global viewers. The list goes on, and I've done this in only 12 fights, where Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Marvin Hagler, like, you can name any of these people, fought nobodies for their first 15 to 20 fights, and no one even knew who they were. And so my career has been different, heavily criticized from the start, but that's the mark and the sign of someone who's a disruptor and someone who's changing the game.
Because this is Jake's first genuine test against an experienced boxer. Boxing legend and promoter Oscar De La Hoya has expressed interest in the bout. The legitimacy that many have been waiting for Jake to confront is provided by Julio's qualifications. De La Hoya's enthusiasm extends beyond the spectacle. The stakes are raised since this fight finally puts Jake in a real boxing situation. Against a fighter with Julio's record history and style, entertainment versus semi-retirement is no longer the issue. Internet dominance and genuine boxing ancestry are at odds.
I'm really excited because the only reason I got involved with this is because he's fighting a real fighter now. Julio Cesar Chavez went 12 rounds with Canelo. He is an ex-world champion in boxing. So this is a real legit fight. I'm looking forward to it. I'm obviously questioning what Chavez Jr. will we see. Will he be in great shape? Will he not be in shape? Will he make weight? Will he do a lot of questions behind it? But ultimately, you have to tell yourself, Jake Paul, congratulations. This is the real first legitimate world champion fighter you're fighting.
Word on the grapevine is that Jake Paul will be fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in his upcoming fight. That is apparently going to be announced very, very soon. Now, this is actually quite an interesting one, really. Jake's going to get a lot of stick for this. It is another retired fighter. However, this is a guy that realistically has only been retired for about 4 years. And he also isn't a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. Chavez Jr. is only 39 years old. And the last notable fight, realistically, for Chavez Jr. was Danny Jacobs. That was back at the back end of 2019. So you could say that realistically the guy hasn't been fighting top competitors for about 5.5 years or so. The thing that does worry me just a little bit is that Chavez Jr. was pretty much fighting at middleweight during his, let's say, prime. And no doubt that this fight will be at cruiserweight, if not heavyweight. So good on Jake Paul for fighting someone who is semi-recently retired this time, and he's actually a boxer and not an MMA fighter. But again, shame on Jake Paul for fighting someone who is considerably smaller and will likely want them to balloon up to cruiserweight. Maybe even heavyweight if Jake's sticking at this thing of he's a heavyweight now. Let me know in the comments, will you watch this if it's on Netflix and it doesn't cost any more money like the Mike Tyson fight did? Are you interested? Should Jake Paul be taking on more active professional boxers nowadays? You know, not someone who has been retired for 4 or 5 years. I'm interested to know your opinions. Also, will this fight actually get made? Let me know in the comments. As always, a like, favourite, save and a share, all appreciated. And if you want to be kept up to date with everything boxing, hit that follow button. Peace out.